So setting goals can be awesome. I mean, you can get really excited. You can feel like, I can't wait to actually hit this goal. And you start to think about all the things it's going to be able to make possible for you. And then the next day comes where it actually comes into you starting to take action. That's where I feel like a lot of people falter, is they set goals and they forget to do these important things to make sure that they can actually hit them. That's why today we want to share this secret with you, because we want you to go out there and crush your goals this year. If you're ready to find out what to do after you set goals, let's go. It's time to redefine leadership. Welcome to Modern Leadership, where we see things differently. Our channel is all about empowering entrepreneurs like you to achieve the next level of success in business and life. We believe that you can create a massive impact in the world without compromising your personal life or family time to do so.
We're committed to providing you with actionable tips and strategies weekly to make that possible. So if you're ready to become a modern leader and make a lasting difference in the world, consider subscribing, turn on notifications, and dive into our community. We want to thank you for being here because the world needs your leadership now more than ever. Let's go.
So we've worked with a lot of people one-on-one and in small groups, and we always help them identify what they really want, because setting goals is important, not only for them, but also us as a coach, right? Because if we don't know what they want, how are we going to be able to help get them that? But there's a couple of things that we see people do all the time, especially when they're trying to do this on their own, that totally throws them off track. As a matter of fact, I think both of us did these things numerous times, but what we had to do is actually work with a coach and understand how this actually works, but then also avoid doing these key things that we were doing that were keeping us stuck. So that being said, I kind of want to hear from you, Teresa. What is like the biggest thing that you think that people do after they set goals that actually sets themselves up to fail?
Okay, so I think problem number one is they don't reverse engineer their goals.
So tell me what you mean about that. What do you mean by reverse engineering their goals?
Okay, so basically we need to know what we're going to be doing on a daily basis when it comes to our goals. When we create these lofty goals, we have no idea how that's going to look day to day. So if we never put a plan together of what we're going to be doing on a daily basis, we're going to feel super overwhelmed. So what we mean by reverse engineering, taking the big goal and breaking it up into smaller, more manageable pieces.
Yeah, I find the same thing happens with my clients too, is they're so excited about dreaming, about thinking about like what they're going to be able to achieve. They forget to break it down into the bite-sized chunks that it takes every single day to make it happen. And the crazy thing is when you think about a big goal, if you think about it just in and of itself, it can kind of seem a little daunting. But actually finding out what the small steps are that you can take to actually achieve your goals makes it feel not only much more manageable, but you figure out exactly what adjustments you need to make along the way. Because what they always say is the way that you think the goal is going to be hit is never the way that it actually happens. Now, this also happens when it comes to the skills that the people need to develop, right? It's like when you reverse engineer your goals, you got to think about what skills do I need to develop to become the type of person that already has these goals. And it's this process that we like to term be, do, have. Can you kind of explain that a little bit for them? Like, what do we mean by be, do, have, and how do people get this in reverse?
Okay, so this is how we break it down. So most people think that you have to have money first, you have to have the skills first, you have to have all of these things first before you do what you need to do in order to reach your goals. And then you'll become that person that actually makes that possible. But that's actually in reverse.
100%. Because the way that it really works is you have to become somebody different in the process. Once you become the type of person that would already have those goals, then you're going to start doing the activities that you would just typically do. When you do those activities, then you get to have all of the results that you want. It's kind of like this. Imagine you have a $100,000 business, but you want to actually get to $1 million business. You don't have to have something first before you actually start that process. Instead, you got to become somebody different in the process. And how you do that is you start focusing on the skills that you need to develop, who you need to become in the process. And when you become the type of person who can own and run and manage $1 million business, then you start to do the activities of $1 million business owner. And guess what happens? Then you get to have $1 million business. If somebody had just given us $1 million business and we had not learned the skills that we needed to learn to be able to sustain it, this is what was happening to me when I was yo-yo dieting, up, down, up, down. I hadn't become someone else different in the process. Now, when we say become, what we're meaning is like to develop into the type of person. This is personal growth and personal development. Like my mentor always says, your outward success is an expression of your inner growth. So yes, when I needed to lose weight, guess what? I needed to grow as the type of person that did those activities, whether or not I felt like it. And when I did that, I started to do those activities just like it was my normal day. When I got to do that, then I got to have a 100-pound weight loss. It wasn't the other way around. I didn't have to wait until I had more time. Didn't have to wait until I had more money. Didn't have to wait for the kids to go back to school. I didn't have to wait until the LAPD decided to give me some extra time off. No, I had to become somebody different in the process. And when you think about this reverse engineering, you can actually think about what are the skills that I need to learn to become that type of person. So what are some other things that you see people do after they set goals that sets them up for failure?
Okay, so problem number 2 is that people avoid the hard stuff, or they avoid thinking and talking about what they know is going to come up.
100%. One of the things we do as life coaches is we don't avoid the tough conversations that we know that we need to have with our clients. What I mean is that everybody's going to have their version of head voice, the thing that's going to tell them why they're not good enough, why they don't have enough time, basically convince themselves not to take the actions they want to take. We actually want to hear that in our clients, because if we don't know what we're fighting against, we actually can't help them fight it, right? So yes, we want to talk about all the beautiful days when you wake up motivated and you're excited, but we also want to talk about the days that you wake up and you have no motivation, you're not excited, and you want to talk yourself out of taking action. That way, we can help you solve the problem in advance. This is something that we do all the time. I think about what are the problems that could potentially come up, and I guarantee you, you're probably thinking of some right now in your personal life that you know are going to come up, and how can we solve those problems in advance? If you've experienced them before, or you have an unsupportive person in your life, you're probably going to have them come up again, and if you can solve them in advance, when they happen, you really don't even have to think about it. You just jump into plan B. And this is why we say you always have to attack those things. You don't want to pretend like they don't exist, because they really are there and they could hold you back. But knowing that allows you to attack them when they do, so that you stay on track and actually hit your goals. Really good point. Now, on this idea of like talking themselves out of it, can we talk a little bit about maybe some of the voices or some of the things that you heard your clients say when in reality it's the actual opposite that they should be leaning into?
Yes, of course. So I hear this all the time. When I'm talking to a client and we talk about all the great things that they want to accomplish, we focus on some of the things that will actually get them there. Then they tell me, but what if this doesn't work? But what if I don't stay motivated? And that is their version of self-sabotage.
Yes, I totally agree. I'm not sure if you hear this a lot. I hear this a lot. And that is, I'll invest in that skill once I make more money. Or I'm not ready yet. I'll be ready when XYZ happens. Now, these things are sometimes your brain's way of logically trying to come up to the solution of you not getting uncomfortable. But here's the thing. How are you going to make more money if you don't develop that skill? And when you do develop that skill, how quickly will you be able to make even more money? Now, for me personally, I used to have this head voice too. It actually prevented me from leading into learning the skill that ended up changing our business the most. And when we tapped into that, I can't tell you not only how much did it help us grow our business, but help me grow as a father and as a husband. And I prevented myself from learning that skill because I thought that I needed to make more money before I invested in that skill. So these are just a couple of the ways that our brains will try and convince us into not taking action. But like we said, if you can really call out to them, if you can look at them and see what is actually potentially holding you back, now you know what you're fighting against and you know how to fight against it. Now, I want to do a little bit of speed round because we talked about several things today that could get in people's ways and what you can do instead. But I really want people to leave this not only having the strategies to move forward with, but also the mindset and the motivation to go out and crush their goals. So let's ask a few questions real quick.
Okay.
So after helping somebody set goals, what are some strategies that you use to ensure that they actually take action on them?
So really, it depends on the client and what they personally want to achieve. But one of the biggest ones that I think that everybody can benefit from is accountability. Because if there's someone out there that knows what your goals are and what you're working for, they can help keep you accountable.
It's pretty incredible when that social cost comes up, right? It's very easy to get on even a call like this and to hear this and to set your goals and to just keep it in your journal and not tell anyone about it. But it will prevent you from actually getting up and taking action on it every single day. If you have somebody else that you're connected to, somebody who cares about your goals just as much as you do, it's a game changer when you have in the back of your mind, not only are you going to be talking to them again really soon and they're going to be checking in with you, but they also want to help you develop the strategies and skills that you need in order to accomplish that goal. It just feels like you're not in this alone, which is the one thing that I never want to be again. I don't want to feel like I'm doing this by myself. I don't have any help and I have to figure it out on my own. Because like they say, one is too small a number for success, right?
Mhm. So how do you adapt to your goals when things change? Give me an example of what you would tell someone.
So the truth is that circumstances are going to change. That's actually an important part of the process. It's when we push back against them and we try to just keep doing things the way that we thought in the beginning that actually gets us off track. So here's the thing. When you pull out your GPS and you tell Siri where you are and where you want to go, like she has this list of different roads it's going to take you to get there, right? But what happens if it's a long journey and there's a road closure or there's an accident and she tells you to do a detour? This is really the way I think of life, but also think of goals. It's like you've got to be willing to make the adjustments along the way to find out what's working and keep doing it, to find out what's not working and to stop doing it, but also think outside the box. I don't usually take my goal and make it smaller. As a matter of fact, even though the circumstances are going, I just have to think more creatively. I've got to think more outside of the box. How could I still have this goal? And what are some different ideas that will help me hit it anyway? A lot of times people start to lower their goals. And then when they get there, they're kind of upset because they lowered their goals and they actually didn't get what they wanted. That's never what we do. We don't lower our goals. We raise our creativity. So what advice would you give to someone who just set goals and maybe they're feeling a little overwhelmed on where to start or what actions to take next?
Well, I would say to simplify it. You're overwhelmed because you're seeing the big picture and all of the possible steps that you have to go through. I would say just go back and look for our goal setting workshop. It will actually help guide you through some of the questions that will make it not so overwhelming.
We'll leave you the link to that workshop in the description below. It was an exclusive workshop that we did for our Inner Circle members. Now you might get to this point and wonder, how do I keep myself growing, learning the skills I need to, taking the action that I need to take, and staying motivated for the long term? Well, if you're an entrepreneur who wants to crush not only your business goals in 2024, but your personal goals by creating a deeper connection with your family, we want to invite you to join us inside of the Inner Circle. This is actually where we did that live workshop so we can help our team when it comes to setting goals for 2024 and help them reverse engineer it into the actions it would take for them to achieve their goals. It's also where we help them develop the skills they need to effectively have the ability of leaving their 9-to-5 if they choose. If that's something you're interested in, tap the screen to watch this next video, which shares all about how the Inner Circle program works. Thank you for being here and for what you do out there every single day. And keep leading from the front, leader.